All right. Good morning, traders. Today is August 20th, 2025. My name is John Carignan. I am the lead instructor here at the BYOB Trading Room. That is the day trading service, all right, for the hit and run candlesticks family. Again, thank you out there for being here. Thank you, everybody. Podcast land, digital land, cyber land. Special shout out to John Jordan, Bob Jordan, Kathy Sarah Roasted, everybody that shares my content, kind comments, love it, appreciate all of that, all right? Thank you for following my subscriptions or subscribing to my service or following my services. I love it. I appreciate that. I try to provide actionable, profitable content every single day. All right, let's drill down. Before we get going, I got some announcements. All right, for the members, this is just for the members, and this is that's the benefits of being a member. And by the way, to be a member, all it takes is $7, and you can sign up for a 30-day trial. All right, so that's all it costs, and the link is in the description. All right, to be a member. All right, so for topic for this Thursday is the disciplined trader building a winning mindset. All right, so you're going to get three, probably 45 to an hour presentations from one from each of us, one from Doug, one from me, one from Rick. Okay, so I won't be in the room on Thursday. I'll be in here listening to Doug and Rick and presenting myself. All right, so not going to be in the room. If you're looking for me, I'll be in the combo room listening to the presentations. All right, so that happens Thursday. That happens at noon. All right, Thursday, that's August 21st. All right, so that's tomorrow. Let you know about that. All right, let's start this off. My SPY pivot today, 640.40. Above it, I'm a bull. Below it, I'm a bear. Diamond Dow, get this, made a new all-time high yesterday. How about that? Okay, FNGU, QQQ made lower highs and lower lows, closing below bearish crosses and under their 17 EMAs. SPY made an outside day that's a higher high and a lower low, closing below a bullish trap but over the 17 EMA. IWM made an outside day, closing inside a bullish trap over the 17. SPY closed with a 2-hour downtrend and a 10-minute uptrend. Silver no longer in an uptrend. All right, made a lower low and a lower high, closing under a bearish trap and under the 17 EMA. Gold still in a daily downtrend, made a lower high and a lower low, closing under a bearish trap under the 17. USO in a daily downtrend, made an inside day. That's a lower high and a higher low, closing below a bearish trap under the 17. UNG made a new all-time low. US dollar index still in an uptrend, but still in that bear flag. So we got a small little micro uptrend inside of a big bear flag. Closed near the 98.32 area. SPY max pain for today is 640 with a put to call ratio of about one put to each call that expires today at 4:15. Remember, those index options expire at 4:15. Security options expire at 4. Okay, got GTX building out the launch pad. All right, the grinder box launch pad. FAT building out the grinder box launch pad. Teed up still building out the grinder box launch pad there. All of those are poised for a trip higher. Again, watch for the breakout. Watch for the 10-minute uptrend over VWAP on those, all right? This one building a platform to take a trip down, Kava, all right? And AVIA, all right? Building a platform for a trip lower. Same as RDW, okay? So the platform kind of looks like this. It's going to move down, maybe like that, okay? And then it goes over, okay? In other words, all right, it's holding the lower ground, okay? So you can see it building out a platform for a trip lower, all right? So these are all in that state right there, okay? So these are the building out the platform for a launch higher. So I call them launchpad because they usually do something like this. All right, so they're currently doing all of this right here. They're building out this part of the pattern, the launchpad pattern right there. All right, let's go take a look at some charts today. Let's see what we got. All right, yesterday on SPY, we'll take a look at that. By the way, on the 27K account right here. Okay, so lost 50,000, remember, on Monday. Okay, got too big, tried to trade the chop. That paid dearly for that. Okay, lost 50K on that. Okay, made 36, made 35 of it back yesterday. Okay, looking to make some more back today. We'll see what happens. Okay, so currently counts at 317. That's what it says right here, according to the stats right there. 317. That's where the account's at. The 27K account that I started on August 4th, 2025. Okay, so it's just a couple weeks ago. All right, up to 317. All right, let's go down and take a look at what's going on. Let's take a look at the 10-minute first. Okay, let's look at the 10 over here. Let's pan this over and zoom in on it right here. All right, so you can see the 3 EMA coming into the close yesterday, 4 p.m. right here. 3 EMA is up over the 8 EMA, so we got a 10-minute uptrend coming into the close, but under VWAP right there. We'll see what happens. All right, 2-hour into the close yesterday. Okay, you notice right here on the 2-hour we got the 3 EMA is underneath the 8, so we had a 2-hour downtrend. Okay, see the 3, that's the yellow line, 3 underneath the 8 EMA. So we got a 2-hour downtrend coming into the close yesterday. Okay, I was looking for price to probably pull back to this low of day anchored VWAP 636.20. Let me just say this, overnight they came in, they did not spike it, but they did get close. Now, if you look at this on the 2-hour, they didn't touch it. Okay, on this anchored VWAP that starts on 8-1. Okay, so on the 2-hour, they didn't touch it. On the 10-minute, okay, obviously, they didn't touch it. All right, now watch what happens when I go to the daily. See, now you see the daily, and it looks like they got it. All right, so we'll see what happens. All right. Again, we'll be looking for that 10-minute downtrend. Now, what's my favorite trade? 10-minute uptrend over VWAP inside of a 2-hour uptrend. Well, we don't have the 2-hour uptrend. They could change that. They did that several times before. Okay, so I like 10-minute uptrend inside of a 2-hour uptrend, inside of a daily uptrend, inside of a weekly uptrend, inside of a monthly uptrend. So here we are with the daily chart. We'll look at it on the scratch here. Okay, so you can see all the way back here from the April low. Look at this rally up higher. Okay, so price action up here, top of quadrant 4. We're still bullish. We haven't made any lower lows. All right, so SPY on the daily still in an uptrend and still bullish. All right, let's take a look at QQQ. Okay, QQQ still bullish. All right, still up here top of quadrant 4, and we haven't made any lower lows. And we are testing the 17 for the second time right here. So QQQ lower high, lower low, closing under a bearish cross and under the 17 EMA. All right, there's QQQ. Let's take a look at FNGU. FNGU, same candle. Lower high, lower low, closing under the bearish cross under the 17 EMA. Still up here, top of quadrant 4. That's still bullish. And FNGU in a downtrend. Okay, let me explain it. Okay, not because of this candle. It's actually because of this candle. See the low right here. Well, they made a lower low. So we got a low here that spikes below the 17. They made a lower low. That got them in a downtrend. But let me just say, that was a downtrend that was not working because, look, price did not follow through. Price started to move up. All right, so we'll see what happens. Maybe we got a higher low here. Maybe. We don't know. We'll see if this big candle gets any follow through to the downside. So there's FNGU, all right, in a downtrend that's not working and bullish up there at the top of quadrant 4. All right, let's take a look at Diamond Dow. All right, look at Diamond Dow. Okay, new all-time high made yesterday, right there. New all-time high for Diamond Dow yesterday. Dropped the mic. Doesn't get any better than that. All right, let's take a look at IWM. IWM, I was still up here in quadrant 4. All right, still in an uptrend. All right, they haven't broken anything either. So IWM still in an uptrend and still up here in the upper third or quadrant 4. I'll back out so you can see. Quadrant 1, quadrant 2, quadrant 3, quadrant 4. Okay, quadrant 4. So that's bullish and still in an uptrend. All right, let's take a look at our technicals. T2101. All right, losing some breath in this push to the upside yesterday. A little bit of breath lost. Okay, this is momentum right here. Okay, that's T2101. That would be the momentum to the upside, losing some momentum. That's what it's showing us right there. Okay, a little pullback, not much. All right, T2122. All right. Well, we made an appearance inside of the buy zone and the overbought zone. Brief appearance inside the overbought zone. Okay, didn't really show up on SPY price action. Certainly didn't show up on QQQ price action or FNGU price action. But it did show up on IWM. Okay, so and Diamond Dow. All right, so you can see here price still obeying the uptrend line here, still on the backside of this downtrend line right through here. Okay, so what we got a higher low right here. We left off, got a low here, got a higher low. Actually got a little head and shoulders inverted. That would be the head, left shoulder, right shoulder, and look at the rip right into the overbought zone. All right, so what do we got here today? Okay, got another higher low. Okay, here's the question. Are the bulls going to be inspired enough to rally it back up and challenge that high? All right, we'll see what happens. All right, we'll see what happens. All right, kind of showing a little mini head and shoulders right here again from yesterday. Will price move up from, from this area right here and go visit and test that prior high? We'll find out. All right, we'll find out. We'll see what happens. Okay, it's looking good. We're up here in the buyer's chop zone right there. Okay, yesterday spent most of the day inside the buyer's chop zone. Take a look at T2123. Okay, bullish gap up that never got filled by the bears. Price still in an uptrend because we got some highs right here and we're making higher highs, so we're still in an uptrend. We're up over the 200 SMA. Okay, this is not what SPY candle looked like or QQQ candle. Okay, this is the NYSE as a whole. So price action up over this 200 SMA. Still price action, still moving up. All right, and over to the right. So price action again goes up. Okay, price action goes up and over to the right. Okay, so that is a bullish behavior. That is a bullish environment. That is a bullish characteristic. Okay, anytime you see price move up and move over to the right, that's a show of strength. That's like planking for 3 days straight. Okay, that's like showing you they can do 1,000 chin-ups right there. Okay, T2123. That's bullish. All right, not to mention bears couldn't get the gap filled. All right, here's gap fill. We gapped up. Bears couldn't get the gap fill. Came within pennies, all right? That could be a clue that we're heading back up to challenge this high up here. So that's T2123. Again, up over the 200 SMA, that is bullish. All right, T2123, 3-bar chart, okay? We're up at the top of quadrant 4, that's bullish. We're over the 200 SMA, that's bullish. Still in an uptrend, that's bullish. Here's a high, there's a high, there's a higher high, okay? Still in an uptrend. We haven't made any lower lows. So T21 3-bar, T2123 3-bar, still bullish and in an uptrend up over the 200 SMA. Currently dealing with this consolidation over here, okay? So all of this consolidation right through here. I'm going to box it off right there. All of that consolidation, okay? So they're dealing with that high right there and that high. If they get through those highs, all that's left, all right, the only obstacle left would be, well, there's no ceiling up above it after you get past this, which is the all-time high. All right, now if you see, if I put my crosshairs up at the top of this high, crosshairs up at the top of this high, you can see right there the line, the latitude line, all right, the horizontal line, cuts through those two peaks underneath those blue dashes inside the box. Okay, so that's what we're dealing with. Okay, this was probably 45 days long. It's going to take us, it's not going to. We're not going to cut through it in one 4-hour candle. It's going to take us a little time. Hence, you got the low, failure to make a lower low. Now we're coming back up to test the highs. Okay, that's T2123. That's a 3-bar chart. All right, let's take a look at FNGU. FNGU, no help yesterday. Dragged the market down. Well, you see NYSE kind of held high. They gapped up and held the gap open. All right, FNGU selling from the beginning of the day to the end of the day and into the post-market and all the way into the pre-market. Okay, not a good sign for FNGU. Again, they were up. They had a nice bull flag up here, and they lost it right there. Okay, that was a nice show of strength right there. On the bigger picture, okay, the bigger picture would be price moves up, all right, and we're holding the higher ground. Okay, so this is still looking bullish. Okay, that's still a show of strength. And they could go up and give it up, and that would just make them neutral. Okay, that's possible, because they can always go back up and try it again. All right, so I'm just saying, like, they could go up and give it up, but they're not right now. Right now they're moving up and they're over to the right. All right, the only thing I don't like is right here. Okay, so we had a failure, no follow through on that breakout. No follow through on that breakout. Have we got a double top here? Well, if price breaks right here, see all those tails, all those valleys that come in through here, right here, each one of these valleys. See, there's a valley there, valley here, another valley here. Okay, so if we break all these valleys, that would be the major support of all of this consolidation. Okay, so we don't want to break these valleys, because if we do, probably coming down to the last launch pad to see if that will catch us. All right, there's FNGU with a double top showing on the 15-minute chart. Definitely in a downtrend because we made lower lows and we're underneath the 200 SMA. Not a good sign. All right, when you're up above it, that's bullish. When you're underneath it, it's kind of neutral right here. We're still attached to it, so we'll see what happens. There's FNGU showing a double top. We don't want to break the bottom of these valleys right through here. Okay, that would not be good. All right, come down and test them. I'm fine with that. All right, but hang out up on top here. So there's FNGU on the 15-minute. All right, let's take a look at a few other products. All right, let's start off with UNG. This is going to be an easy one. UNG on a daily chart. Okay, so you can see with the quad lines. Let me pick this up off the floor. Okay, you can see right here, new all-time low. All right? They've never been this low before in their lifetime. New all-time low for UNG. Okay, that's that bearish head and shoulders pattern, digging out the new low. All right, let's take a look at USO. That was natural gas. This is petroleum crude oil right here. Again, price action has a habit. It's not ready yet. It's just not ready of moving up and giving it up. Look at all the times it moves up and gives it up. Okay, it doesn't make it bearish. It's just neutral. They just cannot. They don't have the strength to hold the higher ground. Not like FNGU did. Okay, even when they go down, okay, they give it up. See this? They go down, they give it up. So they keep coming back to this all-time high anchored VWAP with this 3-year high anchored VWAP right here. Okay, so it's just neutral, and in a downtrend, they got a low, they made a lower low, so they're neutral and in a downtrend. Okay, they go up, they give it up, they go up, they give it up, they go down, they give it up, they go down, they give it up. So they're just neutral. They're not ready yet. Okay, no sign of strength. I don't know if they'll ever be ready. All right, with all the alternative energies out there, this might be it for crude oil. I see nuclear's coming online, making a big comeback. Solar's making a great comeback. Again, a lot of new alternative energies out there. It's putting a hurting on USO. It's not what it used to be. All right, let's take a look at silver and gold. Gold's still hanging out over the 300 level. All right, and gold's in a downtrend. All right, because they made a lower low right here. See that low? They made a lower low. So they're in a downtrend, not moving down since they made that lower low. They actually moved up, and now they're starting to roll over. Still up here above 300. That's bullish. All right. In a downtrend that's not working all the way. Let me zoom out so you can see the whole picture. Okay, so in a downtrend that's not working, all right, and you can see price action right here. Okay, again, moves up and over to the right. That's a show of strength. So they're hanging out here at the 300 level, and they're not giving it up, all right? Notice they're holding the higher ground, so that's bullish. All right, so bullish and in a downtrend that's not working. All right, let's come back over here. Let's take a look at silver. All right, silver. Let's try one more time. Silver. All right, silver up here in quadrant 4. That's bullish. Silver makes a lower low right here on below this 17. So they're in a downtrend technically. Okay, they're in a downtrend. They just got started yesterday. All right, but it's still up there in quadrant 4. That's bullish. All right. So it's just because of this candle. They could recover that today. We'll see what they want to do. But that's supposed to be silver. I don't know why that does this. But anyways, that's it. For silver, bullish. All right, up here in quadrant 4. And price action is, again, in a downtrend that's not really moving down. All right, so it just got started. So there's silver. All right, let's take a look at the economic package. All right, so we'll start off with the dollar. Okay, the dollar is in a downtrend because price has moved from this high and over to the right. So that's a bear flag holding that lower ground. Okay, so this was major support. Okay, we haven't been this low since 2022, not 1922, 2022. Okay, so we're in a bear flag consolidating underneath minor resistance right here. Okay, so that's where we're at. Price action we are in an uptrend. Now we got ourselves in an uptrend because we made a higher low and a higher high. Okay, so here's a low, there's a high, there's a higher low, there's a higher high. So they closed the day yesterday around 98.32, 98.30 area. Still in that uptrend, but also still in that bear flag. All right, let's take a look at Max Payne. Max Payne for today, 640. Put to call ratio of a little less than 1 put for each call that expires today on the options at 415. Earnings reports. I think we got Home Depot. Nope, TJ Maxx this morning. $148 billion they're going to report this morning. Lowe's, $140 billion. Analog Devices, $114 billion. Tomorrow, we got Walmart. That's $800 billion. Okay? They're going to report tomorrow morning. Intuit, $200 billion in the evening. Full Truck Alliance, $115 billion in the morning with Walmart. Friday, nothing but familiar names, but nothing that's going to move the markets right there. Okay, so there's the headliners. Okay, on the economic calendar, all right, apparently I had the wrong week up here earlier in the week. Seem to have got the right week now, okay. Mr. Powell speaks at 10 o'clock on Friday. That could be the main event. I don't think so, though. I don't think anything's going to change. I think everything, I don't know where he's speaking. I don't know if he's speaking to us. But the main event is going to be FOMC at 2 p.m. today. All right, so this morning we got MBA mortgage applications at 7, Atlanta Fed business inflation expectations, there's a mouthful, 10 o'clock this morning, petroleum report 10:30, all right, and then FOMC minutes at 2 o'clock. So it's just the minutes, it's not an announcement, it's just you're going to listen to who brought what up and what about on the hawkish and bearish side. Tomorrow, jobless claims 8:30, Philly Fed manufacturing index at 8:30, PMI composite flash 9:45, existing home sales at 10, gas report, should be a gas report, yeah, 10:30 as always on Thursday, leading indicators at 10, existing home sales at 10, and then Powell speaks on Friday, all right? So all in all, pretty light week. We'll see what the FOMC minutes are going to say. I'm sure there's going to be some resistance as far as lowering rates, because we're starting to get a little bit of tweaking towards positive inflation, which is not good, and that's the FOMC's job, is to control inflation. A lot of it's artificial due to tariffs, all right? So I don't know how they deal with that, okay? Do the tariffs go away? It's artificial. Does it count? Inflation is inflation, okay? Really doesn't matter. It comes out of our wallet, whether it goes to Uncle Sam or it goes to somebody else. It still costs us more for that product. So we'll see how they view things with the FOMC minutes at 2 p.m. today. All right, that's it for me for today, okay? Let me get this video rendered, get it out there so everybody in podcast land, digital land, cyber land gets to listen to it before the market opens. All right, I'll see you guys all in about 45 minutes. Thanks for hanging out with me.